Female empowerment and fund embezzlement both go hand in hand, but as always, when there is a female involved in the same sentence, things don't really turn out well. And hence, we have again bought a manhwa about job once again. So with IRS on your steamy illegal money trail, let's begin our recap. The manhwa kicks off with the whole place turning upside down for the preparation of the banquet that is about to start. In walks Nell, the female protagonist, with dark circles under her eyes because she has not been able to sleep for 2 days straight. She is the land steward of the duchy, and no matter what she does, the paperwork never seems to end. Nell is basically that one unfortunate corporate intern who keeps getting buried under Excel sheets that spawn like Hydra's cut one down, 3 more appear. She is a land steward who is always the victim of an infinite loop of documents, and now she also has to attend the banquet for the Harvest Festival. If she had the slightest bit of foresight that this is what she had signed up for, she would have noped out of this job faster than a gamer rage quitting after a speedrun fail. Land stewards are actually responsible for managing every aspect of the territory. They oversee vast domains, keeping track of income and tax collections, farmlands, pastures, orchards, you name it, they manage it. Mostly, they compile this endless mountain of information and regularly report it to the lord of the territory. Typically, the number of stewards working depends on the size of the land. But for this enormous duchy, it is only Nell, the designated one-woman army, wiping everyone's royal butts while simultaneously fighting for her own survival. The reason she is always this overworked is because of her boss, who lacks absolutely nothing in appearance and style. He is the Duke, named Lionel. Nell practically begs him for a vacation because she swears she is going to drop dead at this rate. But this man, this audacious man, just casually says there is no need to worry because she is not going to die. Nell glares at him like, how the hell is someone like him even real? He rose to his position as Duke at the ridiculously young age of 14. He is a powerful man, third in line to the throne, ruling over 3,000 people, and yet he acts like it is a casual side quest. He is thoroughly cold towards people, and while that might not matter to him, Nell is actually about to collapse into ghost mode. She asks him to at least give her a break of 1 month, but seeing that he is not even considering this, she lowers her request and begs for 2 weeks instead. She is seriously going to lose the ability to charm or date anyone if these dark circles keep expanding like a black hole under her eyes. She even complains that she has ulcers in her mouth now. Lionel actually leans in to check, confirming that she is not lying, but still declares that 1 month of leave is way too much. On top of that, he even wonders aloud who is going to guarantee that Nell won't just run away. Nell is fuming while stabbing her steak, because how the hell can he even say that to her? She has been working tirelessly here for 3 whole years. She wants to know when she has ever let him down, or when she has ever slacked off. Not once. Not even for a second. Sure, she might have had passing thoughts of ditching all this nonsense and running away, but she has never actually done it. No single steward has lasted here as long as she has, and she is definitely not irresponsible enough to vanish without even saying a word. The biggest issue is that she literally has nowhere else to go, and that realization is enough to make her want to facepalm into oblivion. She gets the desserts to eat, which happen to be Lionel's absolute favorite. And the way he is looking all comfy at it, it seems like he actually wants to snatch it straight from her plate. Nell, being bold, asks if he would like to trade this dessert for his salad, and shockingly, he is totally down bad for the deal. Nell sighs, thinking that he is ridiculously handsome, and every time she sees his face up close, she just cannot stay mad at him for long. Earlier, she was so angry that she cornered him without even realizing it, and he actually seemed quietly startled too. If she brings that moment up again, there is a good chance he might admit that he was wrong, and maybe, just maybe, they could have a proper discussion about her much-deserved vacation. The way Lionel is eating the salad is also unexpectedly yummy looking and kind of adorable, which makes Nell roll her eyes at herself because she is being way too soft on her boss. She finishes eating, but then suddenly thinks, why does everything feel so blurry? Her head starts to feel heavy. She tries to brush it off, thinking it is just because she has gone 3 days straight without proper sleep. But before she can shake it away, Lionel calls out to her as she suddenly falls to the ground. He grabs her immediately, shouting her name, while Nell feels like someone is squeezing her lungs shut. She wonders if she is really going to die this young, all because of overwork. She regrets everything, thinking that if only she had gotten that vacation, she would not be dying like this. She desperately wants to speak, but cannot move her mouth. She wants to be saved so badly, but her body refuses to cooperate. As she drifts away and loses consciousness, the last thought that flashes in her mind is that if she is able to open her eyes again, she is absolutely going to blame the Duke and demand compensation. But then, like some cosmic plot twist, her vision flashes again, and she sees Lionel asking her if she is the new steward. And just like that, the chance to do so finally comes, because somehow she has gone back to the past. Yet, it is still not clicking in her exhausted brain how or why this insane reset has happened. Nell dies at the age of 20 due to overwork, which is honestly peak tragic main character energy, even for someone whose whole life recipe is cooked around suffering. There are 3 major points in her life that hit like TikTok jump scares. The first is when her father dies. She is around the age of 10. She is told that she is going to marry someone else. And with all the money gone, that guy is the only one she can rely on. Her mother loses the inheritance from her father's death in a scam, which is basically villain backstory 101. Her last spirit of support is her mom, but her mom can't take her with her because the guy she is marrying does not know she has a child. And so her mom abandons her, saying she can choose to live either alone or with her uncle. Nell ends up at her uncle's house. Girl unlocked the Unwanted Child DLC right there. The second turning point is when she turns 17. Her whole uncle and aunt duo are fighting like 2 NPCs who just lost all their coins in a gambling side quest. Nell is tired of all this and wonders if they could go fight somewhere else, because she sleeps here in the drawing room. Her uncle says to his wife that he's got a plan and asks if she knows the rich guy in town who is almost on his deathbed. He suggests they should marry Nell to him. Nell literally cannot believe what the hell she is hearing, because why on earth should she be marrying an old geezer? She asks her uncle if he would have done this to his own daughter, but then they start to lash out at her like some discount K-drama villains, saying how the hell she can compare herself to their daughter. They say she should be thankful they raised her this long, and that now it's time for her to repay all that. They give her the ultimate choose-your-fighter option, either leave with nothing or marry that old geezer. Nell chooses survival mode and ends up being thrown out of her uncle's house. Honestly, girl is living the side quest nightmare edition. 4 years later, Nell sees the poster for a steward job. Having a place to sleep and meals to eat sounds like peak luxury to someone who has been getting kicked around like a stray cat. After getting booted from her uncle's house, she tries to do many kinds of jobs, but she realizes if she keeps on doing random gigs like that, she will literally die of starvation. So she plans to apply for this steward job. Back then, she has no idea that this job is notorious for being difficult, and apparently no one else has actually applied for it. Like, imagine applying for a job and realizing you're the only contestant in Squid Game. And so, the moment Lionel asks if she is the new steward becomes the third turning point in her life. The end comes when she finds herself back in the past. Right after this question, she is all confused about how exactly this happens. She remembers clearly that she was dying right after overworking, but when she opens her eyes, she is right back to the first day of this haunted job. Moreover, Lionel's annoying face and attitude are exactly the same as 3 years ago, like copy-paste glitch in the Matrix. He makes it clear to her that he does not trust people, so she realizes she does not need to try to win him over and should just focus on what she is being told to do. Nell basically respawns with all her trauma intact, and that is the true Gen Z lore drop of her existence. She cannot believe that this lack of trust is what made her die in the first place, and honestly, that makes Lionel an indirect murderer like Sir. Congrats on your unintentional body count. Without her, this entire territory cannot even run smoothly, and she thinks this is exactly the chance given to her by God, an opportunity to get her revenge on him. After all, everything happens for a reason, right? She has come to this duchy and just worked herself tired aimlessly, and where did she get herself? Nowhere. Nothing but a pitiful death is what she got, and she has sworn that if she ever gets a second chance, she is going to take her revenge. To wrong him means she has already signed the contract, and so she is stuck starting work. Now that she has come this far, she is going to make sure he also feels the agony of a life spent in hardship. So welcome to Neil Delusional's channel. One day, after gaining his trust, she is going to leave the place and will make him beg to her that he was wrong. And she's like, give me a break, She is really enjoying just thinking about it. She also wonders that if she stops working here, she wouldn't even have to worry about all these things. But then again, this winter is going to be very cold, and she does not even own more than 2 outfits total fashion low-budget edition. So she plans on saving up some money while secretly sabotaging the territory. Once her revenge is complete, she is going to start her own business. Girl is literally planning the Villainess Empire arc while broke. Lionel makes his thirst for control clear and starts flexing with the workload she needs to do. But the way he uses the word simple for this much work is quite not right. No wonder she dies from overwork like bro. HR would have quit on sight. He says to her that her gaze is rather disrespectful, then turns away, telling her to gather information for him on what the residents say at places like taverns and to report back. He also adds that she can learn about the job at the management office. She sits on the carriage, realizing it is the same as it was 3 years ago, and she really has come back. But she is confused about how exactly she can make him suffer. She reminds herself that she should not harm the residents, and she also needs to maintain her reputation if she ever wants to move to another place. She thinks it will be good if she teams up with someone the Duke cannot refuse. Suddenly, someone comes to her mind. Someone who might right now be snorting after drinking all this liquor like it's their Roman Empire. Pauth is basically the roughneck of the duchy, and the people of the duchy got thoughts about him. They all say he's a washed-up vagrant who's losing his life to drinking. A useless bum only known for picking random fights like it's his hobby. Given his reputation, the locals think he's honestly pathetic. He has caused so many incidents that he's often dragged to court. And yet, plot twist, every single time Lionel just asks them to let him go with some fine. Like, hello? Nepo baby privileges much? She thinks, what moron could ruin the territory better than Pauth? So she plans that with the harvesting season coming up, she's going to assign Pauth to the large harvest part. Obviously, Pauth won't do any actual work, so the crops are going to flop harder than a Netflix adaptation. And since the Duke is way too chill with him, he will only get some light punishment. And if she just plays the UWU, I'm new here, I didn't know about this card, then she will be let go too. Like, chef's kiss, perfect crime. She is all set to slay, heading straight to the management office before making her way to Pauth. She heads into the office and greets the staff, but the environment there is tragic. Everyone looks gloomy, like they're all running on 2 hours of sleep and 1 cup of stale coffee. They can barely keep their eyes open, but their pens are still moving like TikTok live streamers pretending to write. She knows this vibe way too well. She was literally in the same sinking boat before she died. If she hadn't been dragged back into this past, these 3 would have probably just died from overwork too. One member is so dead inside he can't even talk, but finally, the 3 of them gathered just enough energy to greet her. Sophie speaks up and explains that they are basically the supervisors, and they're looking forward to working with her. They explain that the supervisor role is kinda like being an assistant to the land steward. They manage different areas, collect taxes, write tax reports, and hand those over. Then the land steward takes their ledgers, makes one big report, and submits it to the Duke. Of course, managing farmland, crops, and residents is also her responsibility. She plops on the seat, thinking she doesn't even need to learn the ropes like she did 3 years ago. That means she can start her galaxy brain scheme right away. She's smirking to herself, all ready to go see Pauth, the legendary loser of downtown. In true NPC fashion, she formats her approach at the local taverns, where Pauth is just crawling out of an inn, looking like he barely survived happy hour. That's when Nell calls out to him, asking for some talk time. Pauth is confused, like majorly confused, blinking as if she's some side quest he accidentally triggered. Nell smiles, looking unbothered and slay, while he points at her with pure panic, asking what kind of business she could possibly have with him. She drops the bombshell that she's the land steward, and that's when Pauth absolutely scrambles, all panicked, stammering that he didn't do anything wrong this time. Like, sir? Guilty conscience much? She says to him that she is here to make an offer with him. She smiles at him, asking if he would like to work with her. She explains that now she would like to have his help with the crops. To be more specific, she wants his help managing 4 acres of land, and she tells him that he can start tomorrow. If it feels like too much to handle alone, she says he can also hire people. But she adds, with a smirk, that if he really wants to hire, then he should bring in the same clowns who are always drinking with him. Pauth is totally gasping like, girl, what the hell? He's in shock, wondering why she is even giving him this responsibility. He's thinking she must be absolutely unhinged for doing this. She only smiles, asking calmly if he is going to do it or not. Pauth clicks his tongue, acting all annoyed, and then says of course he's going to do it. He signs it, but he makes it crystal clear that she is the one who's putting this hot mess on him. She dashes out, all playful, saying don't he dare try to back out later. Sure, he is quiet, ill-tempered, but she doesn't mind at all. On the contrary, she thinks it would actually be kinda nice if things went just how she planned. The girl is low-key enjoying this setup way too much, like she's watching her own villain arc unfold. Later, we see that someone comes up to Lionel, reporting that Nell has assigned some part of the work to Pauth. Lionel gets all childishly curious, wondering if she knows something. The man speaking to him says it doesn't really seem that way to him. Because here's the tea. Pauth, now a notorious bum, was once a knight of the duchy. He was actually Lionel's closest companion, fighting side by side with him. In those days, while they were on the battlefield, Lionel got the devastating news that his dearest friend was selling information to the enemy. Unable to act on the half-baked reports, Lionel himself started an investigation. That dragged on for a long time, and during that same period, tragedy struck. Pauth's wife back home died. When Pauth discovered that she was already buried, he was utterly devastated. He stopped training for months, drowned himself in booze, and became angry over the pettiest things. Eventually, Pauth was expelled from the Order of Knights. The bitter part is that if Lionel hadn't dug so deep into the betrayal, then Pauth wouldn't have been forced to dig deeper into despair. He might have been able to go back home and see his wife one last time before she passed away. Those regrets weighed on him like a ton of bricks ever since. Lionel's aide thinks this is strange, because Nell should have already been warned that no matter how many times someone entrusts Pauth with responsibility, it never works. So why did she still go ahead and hand this task to him? Lionel agrees that it's rather strange, because she ignored all the rumors and still hired Pauth. He wonders if it's a coincidence. It's not like Pauth was standing out from others in any way, and it's definitely not like she picked him out of pity just because Lionel is soft on him. Lionel finally stands up, deciding he's going to meet Nell himself. His aide asks him if he has gone crazy, because it is 4 a.m. The other man scolds him, saying that visiting a lady at this hour is not right and is also against chivalry, but Lionel glares back, reminding them that he is not a knight. He wonders when exactly he lost the trust of people. It was around when he was 14, when he buried his parents, and his own relatives tried to assassinate him. When he became the Duke at such a young age, they looked for every opportunity to take the throne from him. To survive, he needed a place to rely on, so he went to see the Queen. He was rewarded with safety and protection as the result of granting her orders, but under the Queen's command, he became her sword and started to roam around on the battlefield at the age of 14. It is ironic to think that the place he sought to save himself from pain was the one closest to death. But even on the battlefield, he had to go through another ordeal: the betrayal of his best friend. The fact that he had to cut them down with his own hands made him abandon chivalry altogether. He was sick of war, so a few years ago he refused the Queen when she called for his participation. She asked him what else he could do instead of cutting down people, and he was speechless. So she gave him 7 years, warning that if he was able to make the duchy's land fertile within those years, she would not send him to battle, but if he failed, she would punish him for disobeying her, and he would die. He only has 5 years left now. He tells his aides that the land steward is only a steward, not a lady. But his aide argues that lady or not, meeting someone at this time is simply crazy. He questions his aide, asking if he is going to interrogate him, and the aide replies that he has nothing to lose by saying it. It is obvious that she might have eunuchs hired by the prince to assassinate him. His aide, suffering from back pain, starts shouting at him that because of his stubbornness, the previous steward did not last long either. He shouts back at the aide, saying that he will bring her to him tomorrow because apparently people need to rest too. But Lionel insists that after all, they can work all night as well. His aide shouts that this is only because they have been working at the battles. Lionel replies that only he can stop working and orders him to bring her to him at tomorrow's breakfast, because he needs to check if she is a spy or not. The next morning, the aide brings Nell to him. He opens the door, saying that he already told him to bring her before breakfast. Both Nell and his aide are creeped out because of his act. He lets her in and asks if she did not get the order by Raven to come before breakfast. She says yes, she did, so he questions why she is coming later than ordered. She tells him that they all need to eat to live, and if she cannot even have time to eat, it is unreasonable. He tells her she would have had plenty of time to eat after meeting him. She says to him that there would be no food left after the night's eat, and even if the kitchen makes more food, she would not be able to have it because of her working hours. He sighs that skipping one meal will not hurt her. She lashes out that she feels dizzy if she does not eat food, and if he is going to take responsibility for that. He wonders why she is making a fuss over one meal. He smirks, saying that if she is going to lie, she should at least make it believable. He points out that Raven and Arati have not eaten for 6 years and slept for little time, yet they are still alive, so what is so different about her? She cannot believe that he is saying this with such pride, thinking that at this rate even the devil needs to be taking classes from Lionel. He brushes it off, saying whatever, and asks her why he has heard that she assigned 4 acres of land to Pauth. He glares at her, demanding reasoning. Of course it is so that she can meet the crop requirements, but she cannot say this to him. So she says instead that she did this because Pauth is strong and healthy, as he has all his limbs intact and even has a son, yet he is wasting all this at gambling. She thinks it is a waste of manpower. Lionel asks her how exactly she came to know that Pauth has a son and is addicted to alcohol. She knew this was going to come up, but she did not prepare a good answer for it. After all, her job only started yesterday, so it is obviously strange that she already knows about Pauth's personal life. Even if she says she heard it from someone, it would still be suspicious, since the only person she had a long conversation with was Lionel himself. He scoffs at her, asking if this is usually how much time she takes to answer. But suddenly she remembers that she indeed met someone else yesterday too, and it was Pauth. She says to him that he told that to her, thinking first that Pauth was drunk, and secondly that there is no way Lionel will actually go ask Pauth about this. He asks her if because of that she assigned him this much land, and she says yes, after all he has a good build. He says to her that she better hope her instincts are right, because if anything happens to his land, Nell is going to bear the consequences. Later at the carriages, she asks him why he is coming with her. He says that she can think that he is just concerned about whether she is adjusting well. She wonders if he has always been like this. And suddenly the carriage gets stuck and she falls toward him. She sees that he was so soft. Lionel grabs her hand, asking if she is all right. All flustered, she shoves him away. He notes that she has a lot of calluses on her hand, and wonders if she is truly a noble. She says to him that she is half noble, though her heart is still beating fast. The coachman says to him that the carriage wheel got stuck in the mud. Having no other option, he says to Nell that they are now going to ride the horse. Stepping out, he asks her if she knows how to ride a horse. Nell says no. He grabs her by the waist and puts her on the horse. She is all flustered, wondering what the hell is happening. Then he hops on, and they start to move. She is all scared. He asks her that if she is that scared, she can hold his arm. She clenches onto him, but he wonders if this is all the strength she has. It makes her angry, as if he is trying to pick a fight with her. Judging by her hands and movements, he notes that she does not seem to have learned combat. She is so done with his argument that she wants to punch him with a needle. They finally reach the management office. She is puking when Lionel says to her that she can go now. She asks him if he is going back. She is confused that he came all the way here just to drop her off, and it feels rather strange considering what he said earlier. She asks him if he is suspecting her, but she argues that she is sure he is doing so because of checking the calluses on her hand and even asking if she has learned to fight. She cannot believe that he is doing this to her. He questions whether it is really that weird to be wary of someone he met only yesterday, and for some reason, she seems suspicious to him. She gets it. After all, to him, she is still a stranger. She is still someone he does not know, so it was foolish of her to get angry. She wonders why she feels so hurt over this. She says to him lightly that it is all right, and asks him to return back safely. He says to her that if she understands it, she should stop acting suspicious. She understands that she was too focused on resenting him, that she did not think of it properly. The people she grew fond of are not truly hers right now. Thinking of herself at this familiar place, as a stranger, is a bit painful. Now she tells herself that she needs to snap out of it because she is used to being lonely, and this is not the right time for such feelings. A few days later, at land inspection day, she is all shocked to see that the land of all the clerks is not only prepared, but also fully plowed, and the weeds are all gone. She is confused because she assigned Pauth for this, so if he was not goofing around all this time, she wonders if Lionel threatened the residents. She is not sure exactly what happened when Pauth comes from behind. She turns to see him when he asks her what brought her here. A few days ago, Pauth is lying on the ground when Nell comes to him, saying that it looks like he is not working. He yawns in the lazy way she already expected from him, because he already said that he will not work. Now that she thinks, she sees that the whole field is filled with stones, and there are weeds everywhere. She is all happy that she is indeed doing a good job, but then she sees that this man under his clothes has a really nice body, and he holds thick muscles too, and if he gets interested in something, he might become useful. She says to herself that she is super proud of him, and that he should keep this up, and she twinkles her eyes that she is being serious right now. Pauth is all confused as he shouts at her that she is going to regret assigning this job to him. Yet she thinks to herself that she is actually impressed that he is out here in this hot weather, and she even wonders if he would like her to set up a tent for him. Pauth is like, no, she does not need to go that far. She, however, is all planning evil, that not only Pauth, but she is going to set tents for all the farmers, and this way Lionel will go broke. Pauth, on the other hand, can see that this girl is crazy, and he better stay away from her. Seeing her creeping laugh, he tries to run off, but she is happy that this is exactly what she wanted. He is leaving when it is still noon, and the land steward is right in front of her. She is super happy to see that her revenge plan is going the right way, but soon she is confused that why things are becoming better all of a sudden. Pauth smirks and calls the farmers. They are all super excited to see her. They are the people who used to drink with Pauth, and they are all sniffling that they were dying to see her. She starts crying internally and wonders why this sudden change of heart is happening all of a sudden. Pauth says that, of course, it is all because of her. She is like, what? But Pauth explains that actually, he felt ashamed, and it looks like he is going to make a confession. He gets all teary, saying that after his wife died, he lived a really rough life, and when he finally tried to get a job, it did not go well. Even when he did try, he kept losing his temper, and it made him feel useless, so he never liked to make any effort. She thinks that, oh wow, it is quite a story, and not what one wants to hear more of. She feels like she needs to stop him, but before she can do it, he gets all cringy, saying that she is the only one who actually believed in him. The girl is like, what? But he assures her that she does not need to pretend that she did not do anything. He says that even when he was rotting away all lazy, she still treated him with kindness and always encouraged him with a smile. But this all made him want to work only a little for her sake. He grabs her hand, all crying, saying that he does not want to let the only person who believed in him down. All the drunk mates start to cry too, saying that indeed it is a sob story, but Nell is like why they are crying when she should be the one who should cry. Pauth adds that he also was able to persuade others to work with him because he wanted her to be happy, to see that they all are working more. He gets all happy and assures her that he is going to take care of this field from now on, so she can relax now. But Nell is crying, wanting him not to smile so confidently and not to take responsibility at all. She is all crashing out that why he has to change all of a sudden and make it even more difficult for her. She clenches her fists, thinking that this cannot be happening, so maybe she needs to fire him no matter what. She is sorry to him, but still she thinks she needs to. She is walking now, totally defeated, like she just lost the battle of her life. The farmers nearby call out to her, asking why she looks so down bad, and inside her head, she is screaming that of course it's because all her grand plans have just gone up in literal smoke. But out loud, she shrugs it off, saying that emerging with so many people just made her tired. She starts yapping with this lady, and soon the people she has managed on the Duke's lands are all gathered around. The crops grown on the Duke's land belong to the Duke, but the residents receive a portion as payment for their labor. While the Duke is fair, she wonders who really knows what could happen if the crops fail one season. She genuinely does not want the residents to suffer just because of her revenge plot that already flopped harder than a TikTok dance trend from 2020. She tells the lady that if there are any issues the people are facing, they can tell her directly. The lady replies that in that case they would like new hoes, because the current ones are all worn out. Nell, playing it cool, says that she will let them know after contacting the blacksmith. The lady pauses her for a moment, making Nell wonder if there is anything else this woman is about to pull out. But instead, the lady comes with something to eat, and the energy instantly shifts. The woman tells Nell to take it and eat, since she must be hungry. Even in her last position, back when she used to just grind at her job, the residents were still ridiculously kind to her, and she really forgot about all that wholesome energy because she was too busy drowning in her own misery. It was honestly that kindness that had stopped her from rage-quitting life altogether. She is still salty about her past, But meeting the residents like this does smooth her heart a little, like aloe vera on a burn. At the land steward's quarters, Nell gets off the carriage and starts walking. She thinks about firing Pauth, but then she realizes she actually has no good reason to do so. After all, it would look super sus to fire someone who is literally doing a great job, and she knows she really needs to come up with a solid excuse before pulling the trigger on that decision. Suddenly, someone calls her from behind, grabbing her hand and asking if she is the new lord of the fields. It is Pauth's son, whose eyes are twinkling with a level of sparkle that could blind a K-drama lead. He questions if she is the one who hired his dad. She tells him yes, she is the new lord, but she also asks who exactly he is. The boy explains that he is Jir, son of Pauth, and this makes Nell's plan feel 10 times more awkward than it already was. He thanks her, saying that because of this job his dad does not cry anymore, does not drink anymore, and, plot twist, he also said to Jer that he will never let him starve again. The boy is literally glowing as he shares how happy he is to have his good dad back. Nell is all kinds of shook, realizing that if she fires him now, this kid is definitely going to starve, and it will be on her. With all her own misery piling in her chest, she walks to her room, muttering internally that not even in hell could she do that. It's giving main character crisis energy, but at the same time she is realizing the universe just hit her with the "you can't be petty right now" card. She knows she can't fire Pauth anymore, not after that kid looked at her with those ridiculously sparkling eyes. Like, come on, no way she is about to let a kid starve just because of her revenge arc that already bombed. Feeling gloomy, she goes to greet the gloomy trio, Sophie, Luce, and the one who literally looks like he is about to keel over at any second. Sophie, sitting there half dead, asks Nell if things went well. Nell, big thinking mode activated, considers how all 3 supervisors used to be commoners who became knights before ending up here. They got injured, retired, and only then learned to read and do arithmetic. No wonder they struggle so hard with the enormous amount of bookkeeping. Nell tells Sophie that she will handle it so Sophie can go rest, since honestly, it doesn't even look like that much work. Sophie is all confused, but Nell reassures her she can take a nap, and Nell starts doing her work. Even though Nell herself isn't exactly Miss Healthy Sleeping Habits, at least her condition is better than Sophie, who hasn't slept in 3 days straight. Nell decides she will report this first to Lionel, but dinner is absolutely out of the question for her today. Later, we see her literally dashing toward Lionel. Realizing she was so busy working, she completely forgot she needed to submit the reports too. She bursts into his office, apologizing for being late, and Lionel mocks her, confirming yes, she is indeed late. She's huffing, her whole chest heaving, as she pants out that she is sorry and hands over the reports. Lionel questions why she is late, and she explains she was working, not realizing the time. But before this poor soul can even finish her sentence, her stomach growls so loudly it makes a grand entrance of its own, like some diva showing up to steal the spotlight. This makes Raven chuckle on the side, and Nell shoots him a dead serious look, like, "Bro, don't." She clears her throat, trying to move past it, and says she will be leaving now. But no, her stomach was not done embarrassing her. It growls again, louder. Nell starts smacking her stomach, mentally cursing why this little thing has to speak up at the worst possible time. Lionel sighs, looking both amused and done, and tells her to go change and come back here. He adds that they are going to continue their report over dinner. Nell freezes, questioning if he really just implied that she and he are going to eat together. Lionel, totally unbothered, asks if there is a problem with that. Nell, caught off guard, is confused why this man is suddenly doing things he has never done before, and why he is making her feel so nervous. It's giving main character meets love interest energy, but she is way too stressed to admit it. He says that they are going to the restaurant, and Nell dashes away to get changed. Braschutete is an upscale restaurant near the Duchy, known for its divine food like, seriously Michelin star level, chef's kiss perfection, and a single course there costs around 3 months' worth of her salary. She had only once before in her past life gotten the chance to eat there, but she had died before she could really enjoy it. And now, even though all her clothes are shabby and totally not Instagram worthy, she comes back without changing and just ties her hair in half like she is trying to pull off a quote Pinterest aesthetic. She sees that Lionel himself has come to pick her up. Seeing her arrive, he opens the door of the carriage for her like some posh gentleman out of a drama. As she is getting on the carriage, Lionel mocks her, saying in a way that feels like he means she has to shed those clothes to get them off, which totally pisses her off, like, excuse you, bro. She wants to say to him that if he really had to put it like that, but before she can even finish the sentence, his glare makes her stop, like straight up boss battle intimidation mode. She mutters, all grumbly, that it is not like she is a lizard that needs to shed its skin, and Lionel actually smiles, thinking that she is an odd woman. They enter the restaurant, and the place looks so luxurious, she low-key feels like she just walked into another dimension. Nell can't believe she is here again, and she is super hyped for the food, literally vibrating like a kid in a candy shop. But the people inside start to whisper, like spill the tea gossiping, wondering why Lionel is here with a woman. Nell knows it is obvious that they are talking behind her back. After all, he is the heir of the duchy, rolling up in Gucci-level vibes, while she is poorly dressed, looking like she just clocked out of retail. When the waiter comes with the menu, Lionel apologizes to Nell, saying it is because of him that people are talking. She reassures him that it is fine, but he insists that she can order anything she likes. Nell tells him it is not necessary, but deep down, she is already plotting to splurge, like she's about to liquidate Jeff Bezos' wallet. She straight up tells the waiter that she would like everything from top to bottom of the menu, except anything that includes strawberries. This makes Lionel twitch, like, girl, what? He asks why she excluded strawberries, and she says she doesn't want to win him over with food like, bruh. She is not trying to seduce him with fruit salad. But Lionel insists that they will add the strawberry pudding anyway. After that, he asks Nell what exactly she is planning. Nell wonders if he is talking about why she ordered this much food, so she says she doesn't know. Lionel mocks her, saying she seems quite flustered for someone who supposedly doesn't know. Nell feels fussy, annoyed that he is being so stingy, like, bro, you told her to order anything she wanted, and now you're side-eyeing her like she's running up the bill. But then she realizes he isn't even talking about food. He says he doesn't understand why she chose Pauth, who was literally slacking on the job and then even encouraged him when he was being lazy, because everyone knows nobody hires lazy people and then rewards them. Lionel asks if she did that just to gain his trust. She finally understands, so this is what he has been talking about this whole time. Nell clenches her hands, thinking that yes, she did want his trust at first, but not anymore. Despite all her hard work, all she ever got in return were suspicious looks, like everyone thought she was plotting 24/7. And this time, she is done hoping for something he is never going to give her. She finally says that she is not doing this to gain his trust. It's not like her salary is going to increase just because he trusts her, so she assures him that she isn't doing anything with such intentions. Finally, at that exact moment, the food arrives. The food is set on the table, and when the Alaska course begins, people around them whisper that Nell is too greedy for ordering so much. Nell is like, fine, they can insult her all they want. But the restaurant donates its leftovers to children, so even if she leaves food on the table, it just means more donations for the poor kids. Like, hello, philanthropy queen. But then she notices Lionel sprinkling both salt and sugar on his steak. Nell cannot stand his eating habits at all. Like, who in their right mind does that? She really wishes he could consider the person sitting across from him. Lionel asks if there is any problem, and Nell says that actually she has never seen any sane man put sugar and salt on their steak. He is confused, though, about how she even knows it was sugar, since the bottles have no labels. Nell is like, okay, mind reader moment, and then brings up the main subject that maybe he should hire more assistants. The territory is huge, but they only have 3 supervisors, and honestly, the way they look right now, it's giving NPCs on low health, safe to say they will die any moment. Lionel, glaring at her, says he already told her she only needs to do what she is told, so why the heck is she trying to overstep? Like, bruh, why are you acting like HR when she's just pointing out you're running a company with 3 interns? She says with full dramatic flair that it is her duty as the Lord Steward to secure more help at the office if needed, but Lionel glares at her like she just committed treason and asks if she is trying to challenge him. Not even a second later, she slams the desk like bam, declaring that this is her duty, and if he thinks that it's a challenge to him, then fine, let him think so. Just standing up against him is making her tremble like a chihuahua in a thunderstorm, but she forces herself to keep going. She even starts mimicking the face he makes when glaring at her, basically roasting him in 4K. She makes it clear she is not going to change her opinion no matter how much he squints at her. Lionel is like, oh, so that's how she thinks he looks? She says yes, and he pauses, thinking for a while before asking if she is trying to say that he looks like a well-fed squirrel. Nell is like, excuse me, what? And starts screaming. asking if he has gone crazy. Honestly, it even looks like her duke has gone totally insane, and just imagining that makes her shiver. She shouts at him, saying he's making that face again, and the whole thing leaves her feeling super flustered. Nell, all red and huffy, asks again if he is going to allow her request or not. She says she is really worried about the current supervisors, because they don't even get a blink of sleep. Lionel, instead of focusing on her plea, seems impressed that she already remembers their names. But judging by his pointless little comments, it's obvious that he isn't going to allow anything. Nell then tries to bribe him with that strawberry pudding, hoping to grant her request. She argues that yes, it will cost a bit, but it will definitely improve efficiency. The funniest part, though, is that she never even planned to let that pudding slide to him in the first place. Her real target is the Duke himself, and she also wants to sneak some perks for her poor colleagues. She is already imagining them celebrating, finally getting a vacation. Like, yay, happy years unlocked. And while she's at it, she is totally ready to spend a chunk of the Duke's money. Lionel finally says to her that she can do as she wishes, but this actually gives her shivers, because if he really wanted to allow it, he could at least act a little normal, not creepy in a villain monologue way. As they are heading back in the carriage, Lionel notices that Nell has already fallen asleep. He is amused to see that she is the first person who is this comfortable around him. Like, people normally treat him like a final boss, but she is out here snoring. He wonders if she is pretending to sleep so that he'll lower his guard, but he really doesn't understand her at all. Never mind, he plans to look at the documents she brought today. He sees that the advisors are doing a good job, but they still struggle with paperwork. The land steward he worked with before would either leave out the missing parts in the reports or make some assistant get punished when things got delayed. But he notices that Nell filled the missing parts herself. To him, her actions and thoughts don't seem bad at all. She actually works with quiet diligence, but then he is confused again. Like, why does he still feel doubtful? They finally arrive at the destination. Lionel tries to wake her up, but she doesn't budge at all, still in deep sleep mode. So he orders the coachman to first head to the West Tower and then back to his office later. When they arrive, the maid comes rushing to him, shouting that she will take care of Nell. But then she sees him carrying Nell in his arms like some rom-com prince, and he says he will do it himself and asks for her room. The maid guides him, and he puts Nell down on her bed. He tries to reach for her, but Nell suddenly turns over, shouting in her dream that it is freaking cold. Lionel instantly turns away, all flustered, thinking about what he was just about to do. Like, bruh, not him getting caught lacking by a sleeping woman.